Welcome back to Train Signal. This is Elias Kanaser, and you're watching Next Steps. Boy, you guys are probably tired of listening to my voice, huh? Is that what I get, huh? Is that what I get after everything that we've done, after all that we've been through? You guys are kind of happy to get rid of me. Well, I gotta say, I'm truly proud of you. We've done a lot in this course. We've gone through a lot. If you recall, if we're looking back on where we started, and if you yourself take a stop at this point and just look back at what you knew about Microsoft Private Cloud going into this course and how much more knowledgeable, how much more powerful you should feel at this point from a knowledge perspective, now that we've covered essentially what is 21 lessons in this course. It's pretty impressive. We've done a lot of things. And I got to be honest, this is probably the first course where I've had so many different systems having to integrate with one another and having to know all of these different components that need to integrate in order to form this thing that we're calling today the private cloud. Where did we start? Right? We started off at the very beginning. At the very beginning, lesson number 1, getting started with Microsoft Private Cloud. We were talking about defining cloud computing. Started with that. Then we went into defining private cloud and what that means to Microsoft as opposed to what it means to VMware, for example. We talked about the introduction to cloud computing. We went to the introduction to Microsoft's private cloud. Those are all lessons that we went through. You're looking at it right now. I'm like, I know cloud. I'm Cloud Ninja, right? So I got to give you a certification that says Cloud Ninja. We went through the installation and the configuration of Hyper-V. We went through the installation and configuration of Virtual Machine Manager. We configured the fabric. If you guys remember and recall, we went about creating clusters. We created the VMM. We worked in the VMM library. We created application packaging with Server App V. Man, was that a long time ago. Application profiles and SQL Server profile. We did a lot. Everything that you see on the screen here culminated essentially for us. I think the whole course culminated in two places, right? So when we started to talk about app control, that was really cool because that was the first time where everything that we've been working on, well, we can now expose it to somebody. Someone can actually, hey, appreciate what I've done. Look at what I've done. But it really culminated with Orchestrator. Probably my favorite lesson of the entire course is Orchestrator. Just simply seeing that self-service portal at the end and being able to request that service and going about and creating and going through the approval process. All of a sudden, all of the work that I did was like, you know what? This is really cool. I actually built something. It just feels like I built an environment essentially that others can use. All along, all these years, we've been building stuff and they would use it, but it wasn't like this. This is something that you can touch and feel, something you're giving them to consume. It's like a service that they consume from you. You're becoming like a service provider. Everything brought us to this point, to this lesson, to this first slide in this lesson that we are talking about next steps of what you would need to do as you're thinking about taking that exam, the 7247, as you're thinking about the next steps in your career and in your Microsoft career, perhaps. Steps to success. Well, so the first thing I want you to do is review the course. Any lessons that still feel fuzzy, I want you to go through them again. Those specific lessons I want you to focus on, build that lab for that lesson, research them if you have to. Jump onto the forums. I can't tell you how many times the forums have saved me. During the preparation of this course, during the execution of this course, if I had an error that I was researching, during the deployment of my service tiers, for example, when I was getting errors that I needed to figure out, Google knows. Google's your friend, but also the forums. There is a wide range of forums out there around Microsoft Private Cloud, around VMM, with excellent users, excellent experts out there that are providing fantastic advice. So I strongly recommend you either check out the Microsoft forums or other forums that you'll find via quick searches through Google or Bing, since we're working with Microsoft here. Work with VMM. You need to practice, so keep doing it. Repeat the exercises. If you come up against an exercise that you cannot figure out, I want you to take a break. Don't keep at it because you're not going to function at that point. Take a break. You're going to come across a lot of them. I'm telling you, during the preparation of this course as well, I've come across exercises and errors that I've had to pull my hair on, but I've taken breaks and come back and I've figured them out between Google and the forums. I've always been able to overcome everything, and you should be able to execute every exercise that we've done in this course. Keep up with the latest news, product evaluations, future developments, and more. You're going to remain relevant to your job, to your community, to your employer by how much you stay up to date. Don't just stop. Knowledge is never ending. You learn like you're living forever. Continue to learn. That's very important, and make sure you stay in the loop, stay in the game so that you know what's going on. Attend conferences. Attend conferences specifically that are talking about subjects like VMM or Microsoft Private Cloud or even private cloud in general. It's helpful for you to understand how other vendors do private cloud, how VMware does private cloud, how is VMware different than Microsoft, for instance, from private cloud approach. That makes you more relevant. Don't attend conferences so that you can walk the expo floor and collect gadgets. You're there to learn. You're there to network. You're there to advance yourself. This is not time off of work. This is also time for you to build yourself, build your brand, and build your knowledge. Consider social media feeds like Twitter. Follow sign tags from Microsoft like pound Microsoft, pound VMM. All of those will help you significantly staying up to date and getting access to information. Follow individuals like myself. Again, shameless plug for myself here, for related news and articles and advice. Watch my lesson on preparing for the 7247 exam, just in case you need more information on that particular exam, then you can watch that as well. My favorite supporting resources, there's a lot of them, way too much to list, but I've given you here essentially the links to the Microsoft blogs, Microsoft TechNet, and you'll notice that I've written TechNet the old-fashioned way, the old URL to it. You can also access it using technet.com, www.technet.com, access to the blogs. Virtualization Review, I blog there, bi-weekly, eliaskanaser.com. I have an aggregator there where it points or places all of my blogs from all the different sites where I blog at. My Twitter sign as well for you to follow. My favorite virtualization conferences, Citrix Synergy, VMworld, Microsoft Tech Ed is huge when it comes to information, fantastic resources specifically around private cloud. And finally, we want to hear from you. TrainSignal in particular wants to hear from you. In order for us to advance and continue to grow and provide the good quality of service that you're used to from TrainSignal, we'd like to hear from you. Give us some feedback, how we're doing, what we're doing right, and what we're doing wrong. And for my closing comments, I believe in you. You've worked really hard to get this far. And there was a lot of information that I gave you during this course. I want you to use it, and I want you to use it for good. I want you to use it to advance your career, to advance yourself, but also to remember that the same way I taught you, I want you to also, in turn, teach somebody else that is trying to come up that ladder behind you. I also want to make sure that you pass this exam and not be discouraged if you go through this examination and not pass it on the first try. There's no shame in trying again. I failed exams before. The shame is in giving up, and you are not quitters. So I want to hear from you as soon as you pass. I want you to tweet it to me, and I want to hear that you passed with flying colors, because we've done a really good job and we've worked really hard to get this far and we've earned that certification. It's just time to go get that piece of paper. So best of luck to you, and we'll hopefully see you on another TrainSignal course.